I think if we're having a look at AI in the greater market, we have to kind of balance it out, right? So it's not all terrifying. Some of it is really great. Some of the things that are happening are completely unbelievable. We just need to be aware of all of these things that are happening and know how to defend against it. So to give you a bit of a breakdown on some of the big advancements that are happening with the help of AI, solving problems like the Erdos problems in maths. These are challenges that have been identified in maths that effectively never had a solution, or some of them had a solution. There's a couple of hundred. And basically, we've got AI now that's able to run through those, troubleshoot them, and actually solve those problems. Those problems being solved help us create better systems, help us create better technology, better cryptography, all of those different things. So that's a huge step, in a huge progressive step that we're taking with AI being in the loop there. Then we've got AlphaFold 2. So effectively, what's happened here is that we've now got a protein database, effectively having a look at all of the different sequences of amino acids, and we're now able to predict what happens in drug trials in certain occasions from looking at those amino acids, from looking at how the proteins break in, how you can replace certain proteins to potentially get a better result at the end of the day. Okay, so that's all wonderful. At the same time, in 2024, 67.4% of phishing attacks incorporated AI. Okay, so it's being used for the inverse as well. And this is where it's getting slightly terrifying from a security standpoint, is a phishing attack from AI is always personalized to the person. They're scraping data off of LinkedIn. From your emails, they'll identify who you're talking to, how that person writes, so that it looks similar. They'll also link it to certain things that are happening in your calendar to make sure that they are hitting on all of those marks. Now, that can be done by a human user on a day-to-day basis. They say it takes about 16 hours to put together a very good phishing email. It takes AI under 4 minutes. Okay, and there's a hit rate of 80% on those phishing mails. What gets more terrifying is that these were the stats from 2024. What we're seeing come forward now is that with the progression that AI is taking, it can do that same phishing email with the same efficacy, but now push it out to 10,000 people at once. All right, so we'll get a bit more into that. Let's go with some of the better news, right? So we've got 88% of SMEs reporting that they're implementing AI. And this is a big step. I mean, the SME market is the biggest adopter of AI in the world right now. Nobody's really keeping up with that. 73% of those say that's increased their competitive advantage. Okay, so these are much better stats than we were initially seeing, because implementing AI can be a bit of a challenge in itself, as we'll break down, and I'm sure you've got an idea of yourselves. It's not always the easiest thing to bring in. AI agents aren't exactly the easiest tools to build. And then on top of that, you need to ensure that your environment is in the correct place to be able to actually deploy those agents in anyway. So we're seeing a massive turn in terms of positive deployments of AI now going into environments. Okay. Just to bring ourselves back into reality here, AI-enabled attacks rose to 47%. Okay, so this isn't just phishing emails now. This is actually AI within the chain of attack, effectively delivering perfect breach packs. Matt and I have discussed this. So there's a podcast on YouTube that you are more than welcome to go and have a look at, where we actually discuss how AI is joining in the attack front, not just from designing the attacks to designing the code that can be used to implement, but actually performing the attack itself. And this isn't being done by specialized AI that you need to be hosting yourself, that you need to have any real technical knowledge. These are the same AI tools that we're using on a day-to-day basis to ask, how long should I boil an egg for? So it's the scalability of these tools is absolutely incredible. Again, these are some of the areas that we've seen to watch out for. If we go through to some of the bigger things that are happening, what we're looking at now is, with all of this AI coming into the environments, and with that stat of 88% of SMEs, we're now seeing it really impact larger spaces in society as well. So we've got a diagnostic orchestrator Okay, so this is a tool from Microsoft that's effectively looking at all of the data coming through from a medical center, understanding what the MRIs look like, what the symptoms look like, and what the patient is really experiencing. And it's got an 85.5% accuracy when looking at diagnosing complex medical cases. Okay, so with experienced physicians, it's 20%. That's not a low number. That 20% is pretty much industry standard. The body can be a very complex thing. The thing that most of these physicians can't do is they can't look at all of the data and compare it immediately. That's where AI becomes absolutely incredible. The amount of information that it can pass, especially for a medical diagnosis, becomes absolutely incredible. They are able to look at all of the imaging and everything pixel by pixel to really understand what's happening in that environment.